Federal vaccine policy is getting more confusing by the day.
They're not relying on sound science and data.
State Democrats say they're trying to insulate the state against national changes. For years, Denver's 16th Street Mall has had a bad rap. A new generation of businesses is now trying to make it cool again.
It's really exciting to see the revitalization down here and the community that's getting built again.
Denver Mayor Mike Johnston's massive budget cuts are not popular with some city leaders. And we end the week the way we always do, on a high note.
What a wonderful day.
All that and more tonight on Next. If you're trying to follow federal vaccine policy, protect your neck from the whiplash. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s newly appointed vaccine committee is making changes by the day. They want to limit the COVID vaccine, recommending it only for folks over the age of 65. They also want to stop giving kids a combo shot, combining measles and chickenpox protection. But Colorado expected this would happen. They even passed a law just in case they need a little buffer from the feds. Spencer Soicher explains.
Maybe didn't quite understand what was going on.
Dysfunction and chaos have taken over federal vaccine policy.
And this isn't hard. We have experts, and he's fired them.
On Friday, anti-vaccine enthusiast Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Federal Vaccine Committee recommended that only people over 65 have access to the COVID vaccine. That vote after the panel voted to not allow a federal vaccine program to cover the cost of the MMRV vaccine that protects against measles, mumps, and chickenpox.
There's no new science. There's nothing new in these decisions. They're just arbitrarily making these decisions.
Democrat State Senator Kyle Mullica is a legislator. He's also an emergency room nurse. He's the co-sponsor of a new law that some say is an effort to RFK-proof the state's schools, at least to an extent.
I don't know if it's to RFK-proof Colorado. I think it's to protect Colorado from dysfunction.
The law allows the state health board to consider other scientific sources than the federal government when setting the school vaccine schedule.
We saw the writing on the wall that we needed to do all that we could here in Colorado.
While the state health board can look elsewhere for guidance, Colorado is still not immune to the chaos. Just because the state may take guidance from other sources, the law doesn't guarantee insurance companies will cover the shots.
We have our work cut out for us not only from a cost perspective, we have our work cut out for us from the fact that parents are going to be getting mixed signals.
Mullica says he plans to bring a bill next session that involves the insurance component of this. He believes that now that the law on the vaccine guidance is in place, it lays the foundation for the conversation about insurance.
And every time we've been covering these vaccine issues, it's not just a policy thing in D.C., Spencer. It's like the reality of whether a doctor's office is going to stock this stuff or if a pharmacy even is offering it to people, right?
Yeah, we've heard that from so many people. Oh, you said we can get it now, and then we can't. And I talked to CVS today, who says they believe most insurances are going to cover the COVID vaccine and that they have it in all their stores. And then we hear from people at whether it's a King Soopers, a Walgreens, a CVS, hey, they don't have it, or hey, they don't have this year's strain. What do we do?
I heard the same from doctors' offices that we use as well, whether they even have it in stock. All right, Spencer, thank you. Congress has just under 2 weeks now to avoid a partial government shutdown at the end of the month. But Republicans and Democrats in the Senate are at a standoff over health care spending cuts. A new budget year starts October 1st, but Congress isn't going to have a full spending plan in place by that point. Instead, they are racing to pass continuing resolutions, stopgap spending bills to keep federal agencies running for a few weeks past that October deadline. House Republicans have already passed a continuing resolution to keep government spending levels stable for the next 7 weeks and add $88 million to beef up security for lawmakers. Democrats in the Senate, including Colorado's own Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper, have voted to reject that. Instead, they tried and failed to pass their own spending bill, which would have reversed recent cuts to Medicaid and extend federal health insurance subsidies. Congress doesn't have much time to come to an agreement here. Lawmakers are out of session next week for the Jewish New Year, and the Senate won't be back in session until September 29th. Barry Morphew is the man accused of killing his wife, Suzanne, back in 2020, will now soon be released from jail after posting his $3 million bond. His attorney said Morphew's supporters pulled together enough money for this, about $300,000, to pay the bond fee. Earlier this month, the judge modified his bond, allowing Morphew to hire a bail bonds company that could post the bond for a fee. Once Morphew is released, he'll have to wear a GPS monitor, he'll have to live in Colorado, and he can only leave his house for legal and medical appointments. Morphew was first arrested for murder of Suzanne in 2021. Charges were dropped then after the prosecution mishandled that case. Suzanne's body was found in 2023 in Alamosa County, about an hour from their home. An autopsy found the presence of an animal tranquilizer that Morphew was known for having. He was arrested this year in Arizona. The city of Denver is investing a ton of money to try to make 16th Street fun and cool again. But money alone will not revive that area. You really got to give people a reason to go there. Now a group of small businesses, all run by young people in Denver, are moving onto 16th Street very soon, ready to bring people back downtown. Mark Salinger shares their perspective on the changing street.
Growing up, 16th Street was kind of the most vibrant, the most exciting place you could go in Denver.
Lucky Strike,
ESPN Zone,
Virgin Mobile Record Store, and
Nike Town.
16th Street was live then. It was really awesome.
And then it really went dormant and people were not coming to this part of the city.
the last 5 years shifted from having places to see that were different
A lot of disinvestment,
It wasn't much happening.
a lot of vacancies.
into, for lack of better words, more like a corporate space.
We'd love to be a part of bringing that vibe and that community back down here.
We want it to be the representation of everything Denver has to offer.
We're kind of taking a bet that there's a kind of a new wave coming, and we want to be part of that.
I think the focus on local, smaller businesses,
Very underrepresented downtown.
Hasn't had that special spark.
it's really what the 16th Street Mall has been missing for the past 10 years.
Currently doesn't give you a really good feel of what Denver has to offer.
It puts a lot of pressure on us to make sure that we're really bringing something of value.
And we're going to bring some of Denver's top small businesses to 16th Street.
I'm going to open a heavy agave influenced bar.
A clothing brand called Puppet Theater.
I'm the owner of Green Spaces.
We are the co-owners of Miga's Coffee.
Lunar Plus, we're an innovative bag and backpack company.
We are one of one. You will not
Yes.
find another store like us.
It's taken over a whole block of retail space and, filling what used to be vacant space with small businesses.
We really hope that being down here is just an opportunity for the next generation. Being from here, we used to see how this place thrived.
I want to be one of those assets to 16th Street Mall.
Super talented people,
I'm bringing something different.
very creative.
My crew is bringing something different.
You want it to be, the embodiment of Denver.
I'm from Denver.
We're born and raised here in Denver, Colorado.
It's cool, being the change that you want to see in the city.
We're on the right path, Denver.
Denver got some of the most special, fun, beautiful people. There he is. There he is. There he is. That's it, man. We want to see people having some fun. We want to see some smiles, and we want to be part of bringing that energy back.
Green Spaces will take over nearly an entire block of 16th Street, having gallery and event spaces, a marketplace with storefronts, art spaces, and co-working areas, along with a coffee shop and bar. Basically, all those people who you just heard from there. It's the vision of Javon Taylor, who you also heard from there, who already opened at Green Spaces location in 5 Points. Last time 16th Street was this cool, it was still called the 16th Street Mall, Jenny. Now they're trying to make it cool again.
Back when you were a kid.
I know, right? But so many memories, right?
Yeah.
For everybody who's from Denver, you remember ESPN Zone, Nike Town, big corporate brands, but it brought you down to 16th Street. Now they're trying to reimagine it all and say, okay, nobody's gone to the 16th Street Mall for so many times, for so many years, and then now what can get people to come down there? Stuff that you can't find anywhere else. Local small businesses that are bringing people back to the area.
Run by young people.
Yeah, that's what I was surprised
really
about.
Are drawing in the younger crowd.
It's really refreshing to see, honestly.
I hope I'm cool enough to go visit now. I might not be.
You got to go stop by.
Very cool. Mark, thank you so much. The $200 million budget cuts that Denver Mayor Mike Johnston unveiled earlier this week are starting to draw criticism from other city leaders. The city auditor is now the latest to accuse Johnston of overstepping his authority by requiring these independent agencies to also cut their budgets. Johnston's budget proposal cut the auditor budget by nearly $500,000, and that does not sit well with the auditor, Tim O'Brien. The city charter gives the auditor's office independence, even some oversight authority over other city departments, including the mayor's office. So the flow chart here of who answers to who on budget issues is a little sticky. In a letter sent yesterday, O'Brien accuses Johnston of, quote, interfering with the auditor's office and preventing O'Brien from doing his job. Some of O'Brien's past audits have been critical of Johnston and his initiatives. O'Brien says he's willing to voluntarily make cuts, but he should not be directed to do so. And earlier this week, Denver clerk and recorder Paul Lopez also criticized budget cuts to his office. He says the budget cuts will limit polling centers and ballot box locations ahead of next year's midterms. So now you've got O'Brien and Lopez. If this is going to change, they need city council's help. It would take a supermajority of councilor votes to override the mayor's proposed budget cuts. Mayor Johnson has already warned that any amendments to his budget cut could result in more layoffs and more cuts to city services. Well, we want to take just a moment to say a quick thank you for all that you have done this week to help internationally trained healthcare professionals reestablish their careers here in Colorado instead of having to sit on the sidelines. Here's Kyle with an update on this week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign.
There are doctors and dentists and nurses and pharmacists who are just waiting to help alleviate Colorado's workforce shortages in those areas, but they can't work here because they originally got their medical training overseas. That's why this week's Word of Thanks microgiving program supports the nonprofit Spring Institute and its Welcome Back program. They help internationally certified medical professionals get certified here in Colorado so that they can be doctors and nurses and pharmacists and dentists and so forth here in our state. They alleviate a workforce shortage, they bring their valuable language skills to our medical system, and they're able to lead the productive lives and careers that they were trained to do. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word THANKS to 303-871-1491 to join me and a bunch of other Coloradans in supporting the Spring Institute's Welcome Back program. And nearly 6,000 of you have signed up to support Word of Thanks by making a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. You donate once per month and we automatically split up your donation to help every nonprofit we feature. Thank you.
The only thing worse than the term leaf peeping is leaf peeping traffic. Some mountain towns are taking crowd control now into their own hands. The feds want Boulder to keep an airport up and running, even though the city does not.
My good news of the day is I spent the day singing with my choir.
And we are celebrating a harmonious end to this week. Your good news next. Welcome back. The Trump administration is now withdrawing a nominee that was designed to oversee the Bureau of Reclamation, now leaving the Federal Water Management Agency without permanent leadership during the high-stakes negotiations over the future of the Colorado River. Arizona Water Manager Ted Cook was nominated to lead that agency back in June. If confirmed, he would have final approval over the long-term water sharing agreement between the states and tribes that share the Colorado River. That agreement governs which states have to cut their water use in times of drought. The deadline for a new agreement's coming up soon, 2026, and the feds have warned that they will step in if the states cannot reach a compromise on their own. Water officials in some states had voiced concerns that Cook would favor Arizona in these negotiations. It's not clear exactly why Cook's nomination was withdrawn. The White House has not commented on this. In an interview, though, with KUNC Radio, Cook called himself a, quote, political casualty. There was a chill in the air this week, and for all the folks across Colorado, it's usually a sign to head to the nearest mountain town to go chase the changing leaves. But for the people that live in those mountain towns, it's crowd control season. We've already told you about the Clear Creek Sheriff's Office cracking down on illegal parking on Guanella Pass. They are towing cars parked outside of the designated parking areas and even running shuttles up there to pick up the drivers who get stranded off the pass. This weekend, Georgetown's now going to put up barriers on their side streets, hoping to funnel drivers away from the side streets and up the direction of the pass. About a dozen different roadblocks will be in place tomorrow morning through Sunday evening. They're doing it again next weekend. Georgetown is not messing around, Chris Bianchi.
No, they're not.
Stay on the pass. Don't go to the neighborhoods.
Stay on it. And by the way, going to be pretty prime leaf peeping for us in the high country this weekend, but the peak will likely be next weekend. Meantime, coming up here in about 44 minutes, our last 7 p.m. or later sunset of 2025, which has my sidekick here, Penny the Corgi, a little bit excited. She likes that kind of winter-like air. She's making her next debut. How about that? Penny the Corgi making her next debut for us. But again, 7 p.m., last 7 p.m. sunset of 2025 coming up here in about 44 minutes. We won't have one again until March the 8th. Tonight, we drop back into the mid-50s. It's going to be pretty cloudy, but if you're worried about any showers, don't be. We're going to be dry for tonight despite the cloud cover. Tomorrow, 82. A better chance for a brief gusty shower tomorrow afternoon after about 2-3 o'clock for us. Highs in the low 80s. We'll have a few of those showers and storms in the mountains. So again, if you're doing that leaf peeping in the mountains, that could be disrupted by Mother Nature. But for us along the Front Range, chance for a brief gusty shower, no big deal. Best chance for us here in the Denver area for a shower or storm will come on Monday and Tuesday. And we're trending cooler and wetter for us on Tuesday in particular. First full day of fall, it's going to feel like it with a high in the mid-60s and a cloudy, rainy day.
Love to hear it. Chris, thank you. Boulder has an airport they'd love to get rid of, but the federal government has other ideas. This week, the city lost its bid to potentially shut down the municipal airport in 2040. The feds say a decades-old agreement means Boulder has to keep that airport running indefinitely. The city has accepted a series of federal grants for land purchases at the airport since the 1950s. Most of those grant agreements expired after 20 years. But the problem is a $650,000 grant back from 1991. The FAA says the language in that agreement required Boulder to keep the airport open until the FAA decides to close it. Boulder tried to argue against that agreement in federal court. The city wants the flexibility to close the airport and redevelop that site if they so choose. Some advocates want to build new housing on that land. This week, a federal judge tossed out Boulder's case. The judge ruled it is too early for them to consider the lawsuit at this point, since the city currently has contracts requiring the airport to operate till at least 2040. At the end of another long week, it's always nice to find a little harmony. Students in Erie are learning to do just that. Next. Sharing your good news every Friday is one of our absolute favorite traditions. We've been doing it for 461 weeks on Next. This week, we found some good news among students reviving a musical tradition at Erie High School.
Hi, my name is Evan Chappell, and my good news of the day is that it's my grandma's birthday, so I just want to say happy birthday, Nana. I love you so much.
My good news of the day is I got to learn barbershop music.
Just kind of spreading the word of barbershop music, what barbershop music is all about. It's not super popular, so a lot of people have never heard of it before.
My name's Sophia, and my good news of the day is that we got to take a field trip to Erie High School and watch the Barbershop Quartet.
I am Abigail Friel, and I got to skip a test and come and sing.
My good news of the day is that we were able to spread high-level musicianship with some younger kids.
I'm Kobe, and my good news of the day is I spent the day singing with my choir. I love kind of the community sense that this brought.
It's something that makes people feel good, and being able to share it with other people that you've never met before and maybe you'll never see again, it's just a really special experience.
The best part of the day was getting to sing with all the high schoolers, because I've never really done that before.
And the best part was getting to feel how it felt to be in such a big group of people singing.
I think that's super eye-opening to young kids, and I hope it inspires them.
It was unexpected, but it was really cool.
And it's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of opportunity. So I think really that should just kind of be taken by everybody from one singing experience to the next.
Just keep on singing.
They sound awesome. That story from Byron Reed, our photojournalist. Hey, we're back with your feedback next. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep you waiting.
That's okay. I'll wait for you.
Welcome back. Turns out we are not the only ones who'd like to revisit the idea of leaf peeping. Maybe we've got some better terms for that. Lynn suggests color cruising. She says leaf peeping is so 2024. I like that idea, Lynn. What other ideas do you guys have? We'd love to hear them. Be careful if you're out there leaf peeping this weekend or color cruising. And thanks for having me. Kyle's back on Monday.